What is going on, everybody? And I am here today to give you my review of Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition for the PlayStation 4, but it is also available on the Xbox One and the PC. Sleeping Dogs was a game that came out a few years ago, back in 2012, and it has since joined the ranks of several other games that have either been remastered or they're called the Definitive Edition, hence the title. Now, some of these games, it seems like that they've actually turned out pretty good from the last gen version, but then there are some that didn't really improve much, and it really was not worth making a remastered or definitive edition of that game. Now, which side of the fence does this game fall under? Well, I hope this video kind of gives you an idea of which side this game falls under, and I hope this also presents you an idea of how the game actually is to either people who've already played the game before or to new people who have not checked this game out yet. So hope you watch the whole video and let me know what you think, and here we go. Let's talk about the graphics of Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. The graphics are damn good. They are really, really good. And they are a noticeable step up from the last gen version of this game. Now, the graphics aren't really going to wow you, as in, like, they're not the best graphics in the world, but they are still really damn good. Actually, my favorite thing about the graphics of this game is the actual weather effects of the game, believe it or not. The rain effect in this game is by far the best rain effect I have ever seen in any game. You can tell just by how it's presented, how it looks, that you actually feel like you're in a rainy environment. And what it also does is it actually affects the road. When you're driving during rainy weather in the game, you actually start to slip and slide, and that may either hinder what you're trying to do at the time, depending on what you're doing, or it may help you because it also affects the other AI in the game as well. So I thought that was really cool, and it's just the amount of detail that's actually in the game, the clouds, the sunset, the setting, you actually feel like you're in Hong Kong, because that's where this game is stationed. It's stationed in Hong Kong. It's just really I think they did a great job of basically making this game look very authentic. And another thing that's really cool about the game is the design of all the cars in the game. You got your sports cars, you got your regular 4-door cars, your regular 2-door cars, you have your smart cars, there's bikes, there's boats. They all look very unique and distinctive. And in the Definitive Edition, there's actually some bonus vehicles. And there's one that I can't really remember the exact name because it's a bunch of letters put together, but you'll actually see me driving it in this video, and you could definitely tell it really, really stands out. You have to do several missions to get it, but once you do, it's easily one of the best cars in the game, and it easily looks the coolest, in my opinion. So I think they did a great job on presentation of this game and how it looks. They did a real great job, in my opinion. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this game. The gameplay. And as I'm sure a lot of people have already done, and I'm sure some of you might have done it or might be thinking about doing it, you're already comparing this game to Grand Theft Auto, because it seems like every single third-person open-world shooter has to be compared to Grand Theft Auto. And in some cases, it's really unfair, because Grand Theft Auto set such a high standard that it's almost impossible for other developers to really reach that standard. It's almost unfair. Now, does this game really reach that standard? it really depends. It really depends because it excels Grand Theft Auto in some ways, but then in other ways it really doesn't. So let's get into it. The shooting in this game, third person shooting in this game it's not really special. It's your typical bare bones third person shooting. You have a cover based system, and the main problem with the shooting is that it's really inconsistent in my opinion with the guns. And what do I mean by that? You do have several different types of guns to choose from. Not as much as other games, but the variety is there. The main problem is that the accuracy of all the guns is different. Like, here's an example. If you use a pistol in this game, it doesn't matter how much you pinpoint your shot. For some reason, that reticule that they give you on the pistol is inconsistent. It's not completely accurate. It's hard to really pinpoint your shot. How many times I've tried so hard to aim for a headshot, and then the bullet will just go past the person's head rather than hit them straight on. But then you pick up a gun like, say, the assault rifle, and the reticule is now different, and it's much more accurate. I don't agree with that decision. I don't know why they did it. I personally think you should use the same type of reticule for all your guns, but you should also adjust the stats of all the guns. That's what I think they should have done. The shooting's not that special in this game, but what makes this game special when it comes to gameplay? It is the melee combat. The melee combat in this game is excellent. It's almost reminiscent of the Batman games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, because there's so many different things you could do. You can counter, you can break people's limbs, you can do combo attacks, you can throw people, you can use the environment and kill people, you can pick up melee weapons, and there's several different melee weapons in the game. There's just so much to do with the melee combat. You can do a flying kick. I mean, I can go on about all the things you can do in the melee combat in this game. And that's what makes this game special, in my opinion, compared to, say, Grand Theft Auto. Because Grand Theft Auto's melee combat is trash. It has always been trash. Even Grand Theft Auto 5 did not improve the melee combat, in my opinion. But this game is excellent in that regard. And honestly, I can't really say they could have added more stuff, because they added a ton of stuff. Especially if you find all the collectibles. There's these collectible jade statues where you learn new combat moves. Now, you don't have to do them, but they're there, and it really spices up the combat. And it never feels like you're doing the same thing over and over again. And there's also tournaments based around melee combat. And they can be quite challenging if you don't know what you're doing. But it's a lot of fun to learn the melee combat in this game. I really enjoyed it. And they did a great job on it, in my opinion. Now, as far as side activities go, there is not as much to do in, say, Grand Theft Auto, unfortunately. I mean, you have karaoke, which is... it can be torturous, I'll just say that. There's races, which are street races. They're not really anything special. There's cockfighting. Yes, I said cockfighting. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's not that type. It's chicken death battle. Doesn't that sound cool? Yes, it does. In my opinion, it sounds cool. Chicken death battle, because that's pretty much what it is. It's two chickens fighting to the death so that humans can win money. That's pretty much what that is. And other than that, you got your side missions, which a lot of them really aren't that special. There's not really much to do. There's an abundance of side content, but none of it really stands out, in my opinion. So, unfortunately, they didn't really hit that mark. Now, let's briefly talk about the story of this game, and there will be no spoilers, because I do my best to avoid all spoilers, because I don't really like spoiling plot points when talking about a game, especially for people who have not played the game yet. So basically, the story is basically your character is named Wei Shen, and you're from California, and you recently have traveled back to your hometown, Hong Kong. You're also a cop, and you go undercover to try to infiltrate the triads, to try to get close to the leaders so you can eventually take them down. Now, the story, from what that sounds like, it doesn't sound like a real interesting story, but this game, in my opinion, has a real interesting story. Because there are several different characters you meet throughout the story, and they're all, in my opinion, some of them are really entertaining. But the thing that I really liked about the story is that it kind of gives you an idea of how tough being an undercover cop is, and the emotions that you go through, and the hard decisions you have to make. And you see Wei Shen go through a lot of these real tough decisions, and it almost makes you think that you can't fathom how much pressure undercover cops can go through when doing these type of operations. And it really messes with your emotions, and you eventually see Wei Shen's emotions develop throughout the game. And you see tensions rising, and I really enjoyed the story in this game. And I think they maybe could have touched up on maybe some of the characters in this game, in my opinion. But other than that, I think the story is really solid. Now for my final thoughts of this game. And the $1,000,000 question here is, was this game worth remastering? Because this game was not that old. It came out in 2012, and it makes you wonder why a game that really didn't come out that long ago really needed a remastered edition. But you never know. You never know. Did this game make a ton of improvements to the last gen version that would warrant it being a remastered version? And my short answer to that is no. Outside of the graphics getting a bump up, they didn't improve anything else. They didn't improve the frame rate. Actually, the frame rate, a lot of times in this game, it kind of got real choppy in some places. Nothing too serious, but it was noticeable. And I would have at least hoped they would have improved the frame rate a little bit, or at least keep it on par with the older version of the game. It's just kind of surprised me, because I've played some other remastered versions, and they did noticeable improvements to the frame rate. Like Tomb Raider, for example. But is this game worth picking up? That's another big question, if you have not played this already. If you've not played this game yet, if you missed out on this game last gen, I would definitely recommend this game, especially if you like Grand Theft Auto. This is a really, really good alternative in some ways to Grand Theft Auto, and a lot of, actually, Rockstar should look at this game and actually take some notes, like especially with the melee combat. Grand Theft Auto could learn quite a bit from this game. And if you've not played this game last year and you missed out, definitely pick up the definitive version, because it comes with all of the DLC that this game had. And this game actually had quite a bit of DLC. It had additional street races, had additional vehicles, costumes. A lot of the costumes are actually pretty funny in my opinion. And it did actually have 2 story DLCs, which one was, in my opinion, was good, and one was kind of, it was okay. But, you know what, if you missed out on them, then this is a great value for your money here. And if you've already played this game, you played it last gen, and you're wondering if it's worth picking up again, well, it depends. It depends. If you see it for cheap on sale, and you feel like playing it again, then I would probably say it's worth a shot for you guys. But if you see it for full price, which I think it's probably still $50 right now, I could be wrong, I got this for $20 on sale at Best Buy when they had it. So, and I also got the paper, the art book case, which only came with the launch editions. So I think that could be worth some money someday. So I'm really happy about that. So yeah, I think that's about it. I really hope you enjoyed my review of this game. I tried to do some different things than I normally don't do with this, and I hope it pays off. So let me know what you think, and if you've played this game, if you haven't played this game, I hope this review really helped you out. So, alright, I will catch you all later, and you have a good one, and I will leave you with one final clip. This is how you park a boat.